Oh, and that's a brilliant effort. And they've turned it right around. In the space of a few minutes, Saudi Arabia grabbed control of the game.
Welcome to the latest episode of Dawri, the Saudi football podcast, brought to you, of course, by Arab News. And as 2023 nears a close, some big cup matches in the region, as well as the usual developments in the SPL. With me, as always, to bring closure to the year is Arab News sport editor Ali Khalid. We're going to have a look over the latest domestic action, conclusion of the FIFA Club World Cup in Jeddah. But AK, we have new world champions.
Hi, Peter. Good to be back. Yes, indeed, we do. Congratulations to Manchester City, who are the 2023 FIFA Club World Cup champions. We thought they'd win it, and they did, comfortably beating Fluminense of Brazil 4-0 at King Abdullah Sports City Stadium in Jeddah. They've been there for like the last few days. You know, obviously, it invariably ends up being the European champions against the South American champions. No difference this time. And obviously, once it got to the final, for now, yeah. We hope that changes in the future. Julian Alvarez scored in the first and 88th minute. You know, he bookended the comfortable win, as we said. There was an own goal in the 27th minute from Nino from Fluminense. I think, you know, that kind of like killed the game in a way, you know, 2-0 up at 27 minutes. You don't expect City to fall, you know, to give that up. Phil Foden made it 3-0, you know, with about 20 minutes to go in the match in the 72nd minute. Again, as I said, all in all, really what we expected from the final. But, you know, a great 10 days in Jeddah. You know, fans got to see their own Etihad team play, and Al-Ahly, of course, from Egypt. Plenty of fans in Saudi Arabia for them. You know, just obviously like a wrap-up of the week, City had beaten Urawa Reds of Japan 3-0 in the semi-finals, while Fluminense had knocked out Al-Ahly with a 2-0 win. Still plenty of Arab interest. Of course, we Saudi champions Etihad.
Was the Fluminense result a surprise to you, Ali?
Yeah, I mean, look, Al-Ahly played well, you know, and you know they've got a bit of a like a sort of a Club World Cup semi-final jinx. You know, they can't seem to go past that stage. You know. You know, it was. I wouldn't say Al-Ahly were favourites, but you know, you would think of, you know,
I fancied them.
It would not be a massive shock, you know, if they win and or you know, it might be a slight surprise, and I think it's time that, you know, Al-Ahly like make that step up. You know, look, there was that great all Arab clash between Al-Ahly and Al-Ittihad, of course, the hosts, the Saudi champions who entered the competition as hosts. You know, Al-Ahly obviously won 3-1. Some disappointed Ittihad fans. I know at Arab News we interviewed a few of them. People were saying, you know, they'd really hope that they may make that step, as Al-Hilal have in the past, into the semi-finals. But it wasn't to be. Al-Ahly beat them. And look, Al-Ahly, you know, they lost that game to Fluminense, but they did finish on a high note. You know, they after losing in the last four, they at least claimed third place. They beat Urawa 4-2, so that was a good way for them to end. But look, I mean, just a quick note on Al-Ahly. They've now reached 6 semi-finals of the Club World Cup, including the last 4. You know, incredibly, you know, and you know, obviously they are, you know, one of Africa's, if not Africa's, you know, most successful, biggest and most successful club. They've reached, like I said, 6 semi-finals since 2006. And unfortunately lost all of them, you know, and, you know, like there's talk of like a jinx, they need to break that jinx. But, you know, look, we know that at that level, you're going to hit either a European team or a South American team. So it's tough, you know. They've done well in the third place playoff matches. You know, they won in 2006, as we mentioned, in 2020, in 2021, when they beat Saudi's Al-Hilal, of course, and this year, you know. So, look, you know, I think they are they're doing quite well, you know. But like I said, we hope that one day they make that step into the final.
We do, and hopefully that day will come very soon, inshallah. Okay, Great stuff. Moving on to the Saudi Pro League, a couple of big results in the last few days for the leaders, Hilal, and their nearest challengers. And I've got a Steven Gerrard question for you, but take it away, Ali.
Yeah, I mean, look, some big wins for the top three. Starting with leaders Al-Hilal, they thrashed Abha 7-0. Sergei Milinkovic-Savic scored the first hat-trick of his career. Perfect hat-trick, no less speed. Left foot, right foot, header, great. Textbook. And yes, of course, Alexander Mitrovic scored, this time from a penalty spot. He always does. And there was further strikes from Salim Al-Dawri, the brilliant Mohamed Nkano, one of my favorite players, and Ruben Neves. Look, Al-Hilal look unstoppable. We've been saying it for weeks, Pete, and they just keep on winning and winning and winning. We can't write Al-Nassr and Cristiano off just yet, but they are 10 points behind at the moment. They have played one game less. But so they maintain that 10-point gap with having played the game less. They beat Steven Gerrard's Al-Ittifaq 3-1 on Friday night. Tellez, Brozovic, and Ronaldo on the score sheet. Another important win, but it's just Al-Hilal keep on winning. Waiting for Al-Hilal to drop points is demoralizing. And we've seen it over the seasons. And look, Al-Nassr really can't afford to fall back any further, even with that game in hand that we mentioned. Gerrard. Look, Gerrard's team needs reinforcements and fast.
Can I ask you then, on that note, Ali? We've been surprised already. It's a brutal league because of what's at stake. This is what they wanted. They're on the international stage with the world's best players and the world's best coaches in this league. He's 8 or 9 without a win. Is there pressure on Steven Gerrard?
There is. I feel like he's. So far, I feel like he's got the backing of the club, and he seems, relatively calm. I don't think he's showing the pressure, but there's got to be pressure. I think maybe there's an understanding that he's been unlucky with injuries. We know the Moussa Dembele thing really affected him. Gerrard had mentioned it a few times. Without him, a lot of those draws that we spoke about, they went through draw after draw after draw. Could have been turned into wins, Look, losing to Al-Nassr and Cristiano Ronaldo is no great shame, I mean, this is, you probably expected that to happen. But, look, inevitably, in any league, in any high-profile league, if you do go 9 or 10 matches without a win, there's going to be pressure, I think Gerrard's handled it really well. I think the club has been very supportive, and so close to the transfer window. Maybe they're just waiting for that to happen. Reinforce the club. Everyone's been in the summer mentioned was all the spending, all these foreign players, the influx that's coming in. Will that continue in January? That I personally think that in a lot of cases it shouldn't. They should give the players that are there and the coaches time to settle and really get a system going. But in Gerrard's case, he really has been unlucky with the injuries. So yeah, I think getting in a couple of players and definitely getting a forward who can get him some goals and quick could turn it around for Ittihad. So let's hope so.
Possibly, possibly punching above early doors as well. I mean, if you level it out over the course of the season so far, they're going to. You would say, okay, Gerrard's done a great job, but because they went off like a train, maybe there's just that little bit of disappointment in there. Yeah.
I mean, look, there's no question the results have flattened. No, I mean, there's that period with a lot of. A lot of matches that they might have won with a full squad, definitely with Dembele playing, they're drawing. And then there's a lot of games against the very top clubs, as, with Al-Nassr, in this last game, and they're losing. So it's fine margins, you can make a case for them. And it's certainly make a case for, if they get some reinforcements, I think they can get back into
I can rest easy now. The voice of reason has spoken.
But listen, I mean, we mentioned 7-0 for Hilal, 3-1 against Ittifaq, big win for Al-Nassr. Al-Ahly as well in third place, 4-0 win away at Al-Hazm. You'd expect them to win. Another goal for informed Saudi forward Firas Al-Brekan. We've been talking about him quite a lot recently. Had a great piece on him in Arab news as well. Could be one of Mancini's winning cards in the upcoming AFC Asia Cup. Really, performing really well for Al-Ahly. A club that has forwards Alan Say, Maximum, Riyad Mahrez, Roberto Firmino, and others. And Al-Brekan is coming in and really performing well and scoring goals. So he's proving a bit of a trump card for them. So he scored again, as did Mahrez. Look, Al-Ahly are in third. They seem to be like the best of the rest for sure after the top three, but they are 3 behind Al Nassr and 13 behind Hilal, and so can they get back into? It would take a massive drop in Al Hilal's form for Al-Ahly to get back into the title race. So all in all, 3 comfortable wins for the top 3. Champions Al-Ittihad, who have been involved in the Club World Cup, of course, haven't been playing. They're falling further and further behind, but they've got a couple of games coming up soon. But, even with those, it's they've left themselves a mountain to climb, really.
Okay, it's time for that time of the week where we welcome our special guest. And what a special guest we've got who's with us from the UAE. Welcome, Jimmy Gamal. Jimmy, how are you?
I'm doing good, Pete. How are you doing?
Very, very well. We've been excited about this all week, haven't we, Ali?
Yes, we have. Jimmy, thank you so much for joining us. Please, you're obviously, involved in football on a coaching side. Please tell our listeners exactly what you do and what you're doing at the moment as well.
At the moment, I'm a performance director of Pyramids FC here in Egypt. We are in UAE here to play the Super Cup, Egyptian Super Cup. I used to train, to be individual trainer for elite players here in the Middle East and Bobby Clark in England, a lot of players in Saudi and in Emirates. So, and I have coached before many clubs in Africa. I think this is a little brief, what I'm doing here.
Yeah. Jimmy, I know you're...
Just going to jump in as well, Ali, if I may. Jimmy, didn't you do some stuff in the Premier League with Aston Villa?
Yes. I've done very good 2 months with Aston Villa. Was really good to build and launch the performance department in Aston Villa. Was really exciting to be with Aston Villa at the moment in there. It was really good, and I met a lot of people, and I met a lot of coaches like Unai Emery and his staff, and I like his system and his structure. He built the structure from the scratch. He changed everything in the club, even the youth sector. He got the coaches to work with the same philosophy as he worked in the first team. I really liked it.
Brilliant. Listen, Ali, I had to put that in because Jimmy won't say it, but it's no doubt in my mind that Aston Villa are flying due to our guest today.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was actually going to say anyway, the Villa thing aside, Jimmy, you've also worked. You've already mentioned it. You've worked as a personal trainer with a lot of individual players, Arab players in Saudi Arabia, in Egypt in particular, so some very high profile players, especially from your country, Egypt, tell us about some of those players, tell us who you work
with. Sure. I work with Tariq Hamid. He used to play for Ittihad Jeddah, then Damcus, Saudi Arabia. I work with Kahraba, ex for Ittihad Jeddah as well, and he's recently with Ahly. I work with Ahmed Rifat, Mohamed Hilal, Karim Hafiz, Abdullah Saeed here in Pyramids, Ali Gabr, Ahmed Fathi. Most of the national team players, they work with me, and they do very well in here.
Fantastic. Jimmy, we're going to get onto your work with Pyramids, and of course you're part of the Super Cup campaign that's going to take place in the United Arab Emirates. But first, a part of that as well is Al-Ahly, of course, and they have just finished playing in the Club World Cup in Saudi Arabia. They beat Ittihad in a very exciting match last week. The fans were incredible. A lot of Al-Ahly fans in Saudi Arabia, and of course there was a lot of Saudi fans there supporting the home team. And unfortunately, they lost the semi-final after that. And now, they ended the campaign by finishing third in the world. Still a very, very great performance. Have you been keeping an eye on Al-Ahly, and what did you think of their performances?
Yeah, for sure. We have watched every single moment of Ahly in Club World Cup because our expectation is to play with Ahly in the final cup here in the Super Cup. I think the performance with the Fluminense Brazilian team was really good in the first half. Second half, I think the experience of the Brazilian team, they finished everything with Ahly. The physical ability of Ahly, I think, dropped in the second half, and was like shock for me because the average year for the Brazilian team was really super high. They have like 4 or 5 players over than 41 years old, and this is not good as a physical requirements for the Club World Cup. Next game with Aurora, the Japanese team, I think Ahly, they have like very good performance. They know how to win those games. Right now, they focus on this game. But I think the expectation for Ahly fans and the people in Egypt is to have Ahly in the final. And this is the expectation of everyone in there. I think Ahly had a great performance, but we need them to play and to go so far because we need them to come exhausted.
Yeah, exactly. That was going to be actually my next question. First of all, we have to say Al-Ahly, you know, we both know that they've reached the semi-finals many times, you know, and it's that last step, that going to the final, that just hasn't happened for them in the Club World Cup. We remember the days of Mohamed Abu Trika as well. You know, they used to do, you know, he would star at these tournaments and they would always get, you know, close, but it hasn't happened for them yet. Inshallah, in the future it will. But yeah, it's a really good point. I mean, let's get on now onto the Super Cup. They will be exhausted. I mean, they've played 3 very high-profile games, you know, which has to be, I mean, you as a coach, you will know how much they've put into these matches and what recovery time that they will need, of course. Which is good news for Pyramids, you know, in over the next few days.
Very good news for us. But for sure, Ahly is a big club. They have all the tools and all the devices and all the equipment to get like recovered very quick, and soon they will be like fresh again. I think they have like a good squad. They can make rotation. They will arrive today, I think, and they will take only training tomorrow, and they will start playing with Ceramica. We hope to get the final to meet whatever Ahly or Ceramica. But first, we have the first game with Future, and this is our priority right now to cross this game, to pass it, because we need to get a trophy. Pyramids FC deserve to have a trophy. Like the past 3 years, they have tried so hard to get a trophy, to get the league, to get any cup. It was really hard, but right now we have the best quality players in Egypt, so we need to get something.
That's great, Jimmy. And also, I mean, look, you know the region very well. You know United Arab Emirates. You know Saudi Arabia very well. You know, have you been you know, engaging with fans? You know, there are a lot of there's a big Egyptian community here in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. So, like, do you think there's going to be a lot of fans coming to watch these games? You know, we saw when Ahly and Zamalek played in the past in Al-Ain, you know, just the fantastic atmosphere. Do you expect the same again now?
Yeah. Our expectation, it's the stadium is gonna pack. We know that, but we train our players, and our players have the experience already to play under pressure. So I expect like the stadium will be packed of people because Ahly, you know, has fans everywhere.
Yeah, well, listen, you know, we're biased, Peter and I, so we're going to say good luck to Pyramids, you know, because you're our friend. But for all our listeners who are like, we know there's obviously a lot of Ahly fans, and look, I have to say, Al-Ahly fans in Saudi Arabia were fantastic. They were absolutely amazing.
We have Zamalek on our side, so it's okay. Ahly with Zamalek.
Yeah, exactly. So Al-Ahly fans, you know, I'm sure there's going to be many of them here, as they were in Jeddah, and they really were fantastic. You know, very colorful. The game, I really enjoyed the game against between Al-Ahly and Al-Ittihad. The yellow and the red flags, and just like again, it showed the best of Arab football. I was very happy to see that. Jimmy, just moving on. Obviously, big tournaments coming up over here. We've got the in Qatar. We've got the AFC Asian Cup, but of course there's the Africa Cup of Nations as well. You know, so tell us a little bit about that. What are you looking for in when the tournament kicks off?
We hope the best for sure for my team, Egypt. We need to do something with the African nation. We need to get it. It's not because Egypt all the time. The expectation for the fans in Egypt or the Egyptian people is to get the trophy, because when we go in like a nation cup or like a tournament, like close tournament, we really know how to perform very well, and our performance like getting so high with the matches. So with group stage, we used to do to see that from Egypt. Just the first game is not the great performance, and second game the performance like getting higher, and we hope to can go far in this tournament and to get it.
Yeah, Jimmy. I mean, listen, I'm a big fan of Egyptian football. I'm a big Liverpool fan, as everyone knows. So I'll be keeping an eye on Mohamed Salah, of course. But beyond just how fantastic he is, one of the best players in the world, and all that, it would be great for Salah to win a trophy with Egypt. I mean, it's about time, right?
Yes. Mo Salah, he's fighting to get a trophy and to lift it and to have the cup. Because he never been in this position before. He need to do that. Actually, it's gonna help him for next year if he's compete in Ballon d'Or or to take the best player in the world or something like that. It's gonna help him a lot. Salah helped a lot of players here in Egypt, and I think he's really good ambassador for Egyptian players to go overseas. Everyone speaks right now about the quality of Egyptian, and we really have very good qualities in Egypt. We need just the good opportunity to have those players to play overseas and to change the mentality. And this is what actually, when I came back from USA, this is what I want to change. When I have a team or have a player, I want to change his mentality or the mentality of the team. This is the priority for me before the physical or the fitness ability.
That's great, and it's a great point to end on, Jimmy. We know you work how hard you work with players individually. We know how hard you work with Pyramids, and in the past we've had conversations with you. Unfortunately, we don't have the time to go into details, but we know that you work very closely with the players to improve their performances across all aspects, from the physical, mental, and all that. So fantastic stuff. And Jimmy, Peter always puts everyone on the spot at the end, and with you, no exception. Two things. First of all, the Super Cup, and then the African Nations of Cup. Peter, take it away.
Yeah, Jimmy, we're going to ask you. So obviously you're involved in the Super Cup. It's a tough one, Ali, for Jimmy, because obviously he wants to remain. It's a difficult one when you're involved in it.
Yeah. He's involved.
You're right. There's no escape. So we're going to ask you, Jimmy. Give us a prediction. For overall in the Super Cup, but also give us a prediction for who you see possibly being the taking the glory in the African nations.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Peter said, it's a bit unfair to ask you that. We still will ask you about the Super Cup, but definitely we're interested to see your views on the African Nations Cup.
Okay, about Super Cup, we will play so hard. We will do whatever we can to get this trophy. As I told you guys, we need to have a trophy in this club. We deserve that. And we prepare very well for this, the first game, because we think about the first game, at the beginning, this is the first thing for us. Later, we can think about the final or we'll see what's going to happen the first game. And we hope to win this trophy because we need it. About African Nation Cup, for sure, I need Egypt to get the trophy for all the Egyptian, and I want Mo Salah to have this trophy in his profile. But we have Nigeria, we have Cote d'Ivoire, we have Senegal, we have Cameroon. We have really tough competition. We need to be disciplined. We need to prepare very well for this tournament. And I think Victoria, he has announced the African squad for Egypt, and it was a surprise for everyone that he has Abdallah Saeed, and he's already retired, internationally retired from the national team. But I think if he got Abdallah Saeed with him, it's gonna help very good. Will be helpful for the attacking side of Egypt, because Abdallah Saeed, he knows everyone in the attacking side. He knows Mo Salah how he move. He knows Zizou how to move. He knows how to put the ball between the lines and behind the lines. So I think the squad of Vitoria, it's really good, and I hope Egypt can win this tournament. But I told you, we have like a beast here in Africa to compete.
Fantastic, Jimmy.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Listen, awesome to catch up with you, ladies and gentlemen of Dawri, the one and only Jimmy Gamal. Thanks so much, Jimmy.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Ali.
Absolutely brilliant there, Islam, Jimmy, Gamal, Ali. Always great to catch up with it, and a great coup for us to have a coach. A performance coach currently on the show, right in the thick of the action as well this week. So great to have him on, and some fantastic insights as well for our listeners. Okay, look, what are we going to be looking forward to, AK, in the next few days?
Well, we mentioned Al Nassr are 10 points behind with a game in hand. That game in hand is, of course, against Al-Ittihad, who were busy with the Club World Cup. The match will now be played on Tuesday night in Jeddah. A big match, a massive match for both clubs. Massive. But really, I feel more for Al Nassr. Obviously, Al-Ittihad want to bounce back, want to get into the groove of things in the league. But it's a bigger match for Al Nassr. I honestly can't see Al-Ittihad getting back into the title race. They are 22 points behind leaders Hilal. And even with 2 games in hand that they have, this is as close to an impossible task in Saudi football as possible. Watching Hilal win, week after week. We've seen it season after season as well. I can't see them, even if they go off the boil. I can't really see them dropping that many points for it to have to come back. For Al Nassr, of course, they got to keep going. But there's not much margin for error. They've got that game in hand and this game in hand, and if they win it, they're 7 points. But that's even for Al Hilal, that's a good cushion, But it keeps that 2-horse race that we've been talking about between Al Hilal and Nassr. Of course, Ittihad, even before that, they've got another match against Rad, because of their involvement in the Club World Cup, they've fallen 2 matches short. But so the big one, Tuesday night, Ittihad back at home, playing against Al Nassr and Cristiano and everyone else. And I think, it's going to be, look, I mean, whatever happens, there's going to be, I don't want to say like tough consequences, but whatever the result is at the end, at least one club is going to be almost 100% out of the title race.
I spoke to a very good friend of Arab News and yours and mine and former coach Lee Clark this weekend, and we were talking about football in general, and he just came up with a perfect phrase to say what you were just saying. There's no more a cruel game than football. And we were having that conversation this week. Listen, you think you've got away with it, but you haven't. A prediction from you, please, for the big game. Yeah.
Look, I just said, whoever loses this match, a draw is no good for either one of the clubs. No. Al-Ittihad, Al Nassr. Whoever loses, I said 100%, out of the title race. To clarify, I think Al-Ittihad would definitely be 100% out of the title race. Al Nassr would still have a chance, but 10 points behind, same number of games, that would be really, really tough. So for that reason, I think Al Nassr have a little bit more to play for. Al-Ittihad, will obviously, give it their all. I think in front of their own fans, coming off the Club World Cup, they'd want to get back into the swing of things. They'll be going for it, as we would expect them to. But purely in terms of the title race, I think this is a massive match for Al Nassr. They're going to go all out for it. I think it'll be a very, very tight game. But I'll go for Al Nassr win, only because they need it more. Ittihad 1, Al Nassr 2.
And he even gives us the score. There's not many that can do that, Brilliant stuff, as always. Listen, that's it for another episode of Dawri. We wish everyone a happy holiday period. And, of course, we wish everyone luck, whoever their team may be. And we'll see you on the next episode. Till then, have a great weekend.